You're listening to The Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Steve DeSager.
The Philadelphia Eagles are now 8-2 this NFL season after coming back to beat Washington 26-18. Eagles have won 6 straight. Saquon Barkley with 2 touchdown runs in the fourth quarter and 146 yards rushing. Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker will reportedly miss 3 to 4 weeks. He'll have a procedure on his left knee. Bills wide receiver Amari Cooper with his wrist injury was limited at practice Thursday. He's optimistic he'll be playing Sunday against the Chiefs. And NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says an increase to 16 international games per year will be tied to an 18-game schedule per team within 5 years, he hopes. In the NBA, just one contest. Utah beat Dallas 115-113 for the Mavs. Kyrie Irving was out with a shoulder injury. In the NHL, Winnipeg was 15-1, but was beaten by Tampa Bay 4-1. And U.S. men's soccer won its Nations League quarterfinal opener 1-0 at Jamaica.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to pick you, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
selection of Richardson caps and Southern Bred comfort colored pocket tees with our new elephant and high school themed logos.
Shop Irvin's today and tell them Van the Boot Man sent you.
Where the season never ends. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A cool morning with a clear sky will be in the mid-40s by daybreak, around 45. Later today, sunshine in full supply, the high 65. Saturday and Sunday, the sky's sunny both days. The high Saturday 68, Sunday's high 71. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 44 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Steve DeSager.
The Philadelphia Eagles are now 8-2 this NFL season after coming back to beat Washington 26-18. Eagles have won 6 straight. Saquon Barkley with 2 touchdown runs in the fourth quarter and 146 yards rushing. Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker will reportedly miss 3 to 4 weeks. He'll have a procedure on his left knee. Bills wide receiver Amari Cooper with his wrist injury was limited at practice Thursday. He's optimistic he'll be playing Sunday against the Chiefs. And NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says an increase to 16 international games per year will be tied to an 18-game schedule per team within 5 years, he hopes. In the NBA, just one contest. Utah beat Dallas 115-113. For the Mavs, Kyrie Irving was out with a shoulder injury. In the NHL, Winnipeg was 15-1, but was beaten by Tampa Bay 4-1. And U.S. men's soccer won its Nations League quarterfinal opener 1-0 at Jamaica.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to recruit you, and our running back coach didn't take the test. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome into the Martin Houston Show. It's Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. It's a free-for-all Friday, powered by the pharmacy in Midtown. We're going to talk everything that you want to talk about today. We've got Bama versus Mercer tomorrow. Tonight, we've got Bama Hoops versus Purdue. We're going to try to get into the SEC finds and more.
Good morning. Man, it's hard to believe that we're coming up on, the 11th week of the season. Nobody talked about even that. We said, hey, if you win a championship, you're going to have to play these extra games. Well, it's also now 2 bye weeks. So the college season now may be for the champion, the eventual champion, is actually longer than the NFL season. When you start thinking about it, I think they play 17 games with 1 bye week to their regular season in 18 weeks. And to Robert's point, if they go a little longer, they get paid extra money.
Yeah.
If their season ends, then they get paid for those 18 weeks. But if it goes, each additional round, they get bonus money. College football, for all those people who say they get free scholarships, do you think the scholarships compensate for the extra weeks of playoffs and championships? Because it seems like everybody's scholarship pays the same. It's a set amount for whatever that school. Well, anyway, I'm just saying. Anyway, remember that this is a day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. It's a free-for-all Friday, so I'm already messing. So just get used to it. If you call up today, let us hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. You can call us at 205-342-9904. That's the Empowerment Strategy and Solutions Hotline. Once again, that's 205-342-9904. Or you can always add your thoughts, your comments, and your reactions to chat. It's kind of weird, man. For the last couple of years, us in Blind Squirrel Sport X, we've been talking smack on here. Now we both kind of doing that semi praise pose, trying to get in or get out. In terms of 2 weeks ago, we were hoping to get in the playoffs, and I was thinking Georgia was on their way to another great run, and then of course now it's reversed. Georgia's praying to try to get in, and we're trying to pray to get back into the championship game. So college football is interesting. I still think that despite the rankings, if you were to line up the 5 teams that are in the polls X, Tennessee, Texas, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Alabama, and even Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M would smoke Notre Dame if they played again. They were having some quarterback issues and stuff early in the year. I don't think they were playing very well that first game. I think they beat Notre Dame. But you take the 5 that's in the top 13 right now, you can pick any combination, I think, of 5 teams from all the other conferences, and I would still take the SEC against the field.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, we've seen.
Which 5 teams do you think would beat the SEC as a whole?
Of course, you look at the top 3 teams from the Big Ten, or top 4 teams from the Big Ten. I don't think Indiana does it. You look at Penn State, and I say against. I don't think they could beat. I don't think Penn State could beat Texas, Georgia, Bama. I would say it's probably a toss-up with Ole Miss, and the only team I would potentially get them an edge, or it's probably a toss-up with Tennessee. They might be able to beat Texas A&M.
I think Ole Miss would boat race Penn State.
Really?
Because of speed. Once again, it's Lane Kiffin. If Lane Kiffin coaches, I'm telling you, we saw the first time Lane Kiffin coached versus analytics. He didn't do what some computer told him to do. He didn't do something stupid, and he didn't give Georgia a chance to get back in the game. That's what he's done. I mean, go back to a couple times where he was boat racing us with that tight end a few years ago. Then he goes for it on a 4th down, gives us the ball, and then all of a sudden it was over. I mean, that was with him and Coach Saban. I just think that I mean, like a Lane Kiffin with a methodical approach. Remember, Ole Miss is just like Vanderbilt. Ole Miss has a good defense.
Yeah.
And if Pete Golding don't mess it up, that defensive front can get after you. Ask Georgia. They made Georgia's offensive line look ooh.
Yeah.
And so and then they're always going to be good on offense. I mean, the dude can flat out coach offense. So, but right. I don't know. I don't know how good.
I mean, but looking at it, really, when you look at these top, you throw Georgia in there at 13, the only two teams that I go, man, in the field is Oregon and Ohio State that have the capability of just flat out competing with every single team that's in the SEC, that's in this conversation. That's really it, in my opinion. Dylan Gabriel and that offense, they can put up points, and they've got a really solid defense. And then, of course, Ohio State has always been able to compete really with the SEC. They don't win most of them, but they're able to keep games close and compete overall.
How good do you think Ohio State is and Oregon is?
I think they're on their own par and able to compete with the SEC. If I were to pick Texas, Bama, Georgia, they would have a really hard time beating.
Let me ask you this. What team would be undefeated
in the SEC?
Or have only one loss if they played Bama's schedule?
If they played Bama's schedule?
0.
Oregon might have one loss. I think they would lose.
Undefeated.
Okay, undefeated. Nobody.
Because remember, Oregon struggled at the beginning of the year and had plenty of time to get it right.
Yeah. That's if they had to play Georgia week 4, they lose, or week 5, whatever it was, they would get beat.
That's the part that I think everybody's not doing with this whole mix up. And you guys talked about a little bit when I was off the air, but ask Georgia what it's like when you have to come out fighting and playing against good teams. Georgia, I told people forever, Georgia has been a dominant program, so don't hear me not saying that at X. But Georgia has never played good early in the year. Okay? And the few times they played early in the year, they lost to Bama when they played across the division.
Yeah.
I mean, would Kirby be considered so dominant if he had been playing the West schedule? Because
I think it's hard to say he would be.
Huh?
I think it'd be hard to say he would be.
That's right. So what would Alabama be if you flipped the last few years? What would Alabama be if they had been playing Georgia's schedule? Same record.
Yeah.
So, or better, actually, because we didn't lose to Georgia. Anyway, I'm at Blind Squirrel Sport. Wake up over there in UGA. All right, hey, let's get the break, Ax. We'll come back on the other side and get our phone calls. It's a free-for-all Friday brought to you by the Pharmacy at Midtown. The Pharmacy at Midtown. Go check them out. PharmacyAtMidtown.com. Medication synchronization. Pick all of your medicines up on the same day each month. Also, medication therapy management. We can help you manage your medication and health conditions, as well as they can help you with Medicare open enrollment, which is happening right now. Even can help you with pet care. So lots of things happening there, including compounding, free delivery, and more. That's the Pharmacy at Midtown. TJ and his team, they're set up and ready to help you. And if you're looking for a new pharmacy, you need to call 205-579-9933. We'll keep the conversation going on this Free-for-All Friday on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF, and we're getting off to a nice and light Friday start. We got construction zones in the area, not even slowing you down this morning, but you do want to be aware of them. 2059 eastbound between Joe Malisham and 69. Of course, if you travel in that area on a daily basis, you know we do have it long.
So you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment...
That's Friday, November the 15th at 2 p.m. as we broadcast live and pick a winner to go watch the Tide take on Oklahoma. Compliments of Pepsi and the Deli Press. Roll Tide.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They've moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com, or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A beautiful day today with sunshine in full supply, the high 65. Very cool tonight, the sky clear, the low 42. Tomorrow and Sunday, sunny both days, highs around 70. Monday, mostly sunny with a high at 73. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 43 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. It's Martin and Xavier, and it is a free-for-all Friday powered by the Pharmacy at Midtown. I want to remind you, hey, I know it's not happening until February 20th, but go ahead and be making plans to join the Live to Lead conference that Empowerment Strategy Solutions is bringing to Tuscaloosa. It's going to feature 5 awesome speakers via video: John Maxwell, Malcolm Gladwell, John Gordon, Michael Jr., and Shante Lowe. It'll also feature local John Maxwell coaches and leadership experts, including myself. It's going to be a half day right there at Bryant Conference Center. Go to martinhouston.org and click Live to Lead. And you can find out more details. And hey, you can even go ahead and register for your table. Seating is limited. It's $400, not $40, $400 for a table of 8, or individual tickets at $70. That's Live to Lead, presented and powered by Empowerment Strategies and Solutions. All right, X, I know we got a couple callers, so let's get them. And then I want us to talk, X, if it's okay with you, let's talk a little bit about Bama's dominance in their wins, in their rankings versus everybody else. I think Bama has shown something that we hadn't really seen. Even though we have 2 losses, do we clearly have the most dominant performances, considering the fact that we have 4 wins? So I toss it to you.
All right, we've got Chuck Hunt joining us on the Empowerment Strategy Solutions Hotline. Talk a little Bama basketball. How you doing this morning, Chuck?
Hello. Good morning to you all. I was just picking back on some of the things you were talking about this week. I remember you had DC on. You all just talking about quarterbacks. And what happened, I was telling you, you 3 have thinking about my father sitting there watching that game, the Alabama LSU game, and my father's 81 years old, and I think he was having flashbacks there. Both my parents went to Grambling, a school that produced 2 NFL trailblazers, James Shaq Harris, who's from my hometown of Monroe, Louisiana, and then Doug Williams. You know the story about Doug. what he did in the Super Bowl when Washington won in the 1988 Super Bowl and beating the Broncos. I think he's having those kind of flashbacks, and then he's thinking back and he's looking at Jalen Milroe. He's thinking about, hey, look at how far it's come with black quarterbacks, and also he's looking at LSU. His homeboy from Toulouse, Louisiana, was the first black quarterback at LSU, Carl Otis Trimble, and he drowned back in the late 70s, and he was quarterback, and what happened during that time under Charlie McClendon, they were not ready for a quarterback during the time. He paved the way for Jaden Daniels. And it just, as all that came to my father's mind, just thinking back about all those things, looking at what you all have a Heisman Trophy winner and Bryce Young at Alabama, and looking at what Jalen Milroe was doing now. And, you had Jalen Hurts and all that. And I know back in the, Bear Bryant had a quarterback there as well. And it just show you how things, and there's still progress in the makings, and also I'm gonna land on this one, Brother Houston. You glad to hear this? I sent the information to your former teammate Sam Shade will be coaching tomorrow at Miles College. He's playing for the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference championship. He's coaching at Miles College in Birmingham, and they're playing against Clark Atlanta University, coached by Teddy Keaton. Used to be head coach at Stillman College back when they had football. And you have a lot of Alabama connections. Antonio Langham is on Miles' staff, and George Pugh from the 1970s Alabama. And then on the Clark Atlanta side, you have E.J. Jr. is on that staff. And then a guy named L.C. Cole, Lawrence Cole, used to coach at Alabama State. He coached under Nick Saban at the University of Toledo. He was his former assistant that 1990 season. They won that MAC championship. But I know I'm going a long time, but I'm going to land on that one.
Yeah, I actually communicated with Sam and Shade this week and told him congratulations, and told him if he ever want to come on and talk about his program and highlight, what they got going on, he's welcome to do so. So he said he's going to take me up on it, so hopefully he will. I think they do the morning practice thing as well.
Okay.
I don't know what time, but I think they're one of those teams. Like I think they have that same approach, and I think that also has helped his program be better because he's not fighting with class and scheduling and all of that stuff.
Exactly.
And, yeah. Exactly. So kudos, and so Sam from Martin and Xavier, man, we're pulling for Miles to finish this thing out. I think this would be their 9th win of the season if they're able to get it.
They've done a great job. Yeah.
Yep. And Miles has been down for a while, but Sam, competing for a championship. So kudos to him. And I'm not saying that he wants a different job, but you never know what this does for someone when they win and turn a program around like that. But we're pulling for him either way. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right.
Well, X.
Yeah, I mean, that's great to hear what Sam's doing up at Miles, getting that program turned around. And best of luck tomorrow as they play for a championship. You love to see that from former Bama guys having success in whatever path they take next. But we've got Alan joining us on the hotline. How you doing this morning, Alan?
Good morning. First of all, I got 3 comments I want to make. What is going on with that quarterback in high school that's flipping from LSU to Michigan for what? Am I right? $10 million or something like that for 4 years? What is going on in college football?
Alan, well, apparently the reports are saying he's going to turn it down and stay at LSU.
Oh, okay. Well, I respect him for that. I like that. I really do like that. They said they sent in buses to his high school game from Michigan. If they're doing that, that is absolutely crazy to watch him play. That is absolutely crazy. College football, something has to change from that. Something has to change.
Well, hey, real quick comment on that, Alan. I heard somebody, and I had not thought about this. The only level of sport that has unfettered free agency is college football. In high school, now people may violate the rules, but you can't just move schools. There's a requirement. Correct. There's a penalty or a stipulation. Parents have to be able to make a bona fide move. Okay? That prevents a lot right there. And if you violate that and you go to another school, you have to sit out. There's a consequence. You get to, and that applies to all sports in high school. Okay. Then you get to the pro level. All sport have, you can only talk to guys at certain times. You know, in the NFL, you can't just be talking to guys just because they're free agents. You can't just be messing with somebody's roster. You can't even. They even have stipulation around when you can talk to coaches at the NFL level and the pro level, and then you only have a certain window that's very tight to make those deals. Versus in college, man, you can be making deals all year, and the craziest part is you can change teams as many times as you want and no consequence. So it's absolutely. Hey, I have no problem with guys having an opportunity. I understand a 17, 18-year-old making a decision to go to a school and getting there, and it's not a fit. But that next time he makes a move, after that first time, the next time he has to sit out because now you're teaching him, oh, just run if you don't like something. Exactly. I mean, you just I call it the one get out of jail free card is fine. But having unfettered, unlimited get out of jail free cards, man, that's just crazy. And and it's not, and I wish I could blame it on the kids because that would at least make sense because you got a bunch of immature kids making bad decisions, Alan. But it's the adults who's running this show. They're the ones making the rules that make it worse.
Well, my last thing I wanted to say was this. You know, one of my favorite movies out there of all time was Harlem Nights. And I was watching Mike Tyson and that John Paul, whatever the guy's name is. Tyson slapped him, and he just stood there. You know, in the mortal words of Red Fox, I'll paraphrase it, but Tyson's gonna kill that boy. I'll just paraphrase that. But Tyson's gonna kill that boy. You know, I hope somebody gonna sit on the side of it and have that white towel, and the referee got sense enough to break it up when it gets bad. Cause that guy, he may have a little fighting experience, but Tyson's a brawler. He's a fighter, and his workout ethic and the shape he's in right now. Tyson gonna kill that boy. And that's all I gotta say. Y'all have a good one.
Hey, Alan, I got one more thing to ask you before you hang up. Oh man, I guess he hung up. I was going to ask him when he gonna go pick up that Lambo from Beck's house over there in Athens. No, hey, let's go ahead and get the break. When we come back on the other side, we're gonna hit Bama basketball as they get ready to take on Purdue tonight, and then we'll wrap this thing up with some predictions about the game versus Mercer tomorrow.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF, and we're getting off to a nice and light Friday start. We got construction zones in the area, not even slowing you down this morning, but you do want to be aware of them. 2059 eastbound between Joe Malisham and 69. Of course, if you travel in that area on a daily basis, we do have it long.
You call, you'll actually talk to me. 205-800-8000. I've got this.
No representations made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Dixie Battery Supply takes care of all of your battery needs. Find the commercial batteries you're after and never feel powerless again. Come check out our Northport and Tuscaloosa locations or call us at 205-758-9190. And once again, power up all your devices by using Dixie Battery Supply, DixieBatterySupply.com. They offer reconditioned batteries starting at $39.99, and you'll find all the batteries you need. And don't forget to ask us about our golf carts. That's DixieBatterySupply.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care on this Free For All Friday, powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. It's an interesting thing when you look at Alabama. This is the part that Alabama has 4 wins against ranked opponents. Now, I'm going to do something that you can't do, but would you agree that Alabama learned this lesson after the Georgia game, second half?
Yeah.
Yeah. The coaches, not the players, the coaches.
Right.
Okay, so let's take away the half. The half that Georgia scored 27 points. Okay. Mm-hmm. Alabama, if you take away that half, okay, they have outscored their opponents 117 to 47. The 4 ranked opponents, Georgia, if you take away the second half of Georgia, they have outscored Georgia, Missouri, LSU, and South Carolina 117 to 47. And that's including the late touchdown by both teams.
LSU.
Our second team against LSU's second team and first team and LSU's. If you take that away, they don't score, and we scored against their first team, which is crazy. But anyway, 117 to 47. If you add it in, if you add the Georgia game in and all of that, it still doesn't change it that much.
No.
I mean, it's they have.
It'd be 117 or 72. Or 74.
Yeah. So that's the crazy that they have absolutely dominated in their 4 wins. They didn't just win; they dominated in those 4 wins. X. Other than that second half, Georgia, 3 of the games they would have outscored. If you take away that. If you take away the South Carolina game, it's 90-something to like 12. No, I'm just so anyway,
90-something to 13.
Everybody else has had. Oregon barely beat Ohio State. Ohio State barely beat Penn State. Tennessee barely beat us. Georgia barely beat Texas. Texas hasn't beaten anyone. So. A healthy, clicking Alabama has shown a greater gap over ranked opponents than everybody else.
Yeah, and do you think it would help Bama and the perception of Bama if we were just flat out honest and say, "Hey, Jalen was nicked up for a few games"?
I don't think you can do it now.
I know you can't do it now, but I'm saying if they had said, "Hey, he's dealing with a twisted ankle, a bruised this, whatever," it would have helped the perception of saying, "Hey, Bama is winning games or has had a close loss with their Heisman candidate quarterback banged up," like the perception. Because the fact that we've just gone, "Oh, he's been healthy this whole time," when you see the difference in before getting banged up versus after, and then getting healthy again, you see the difference in the way Alabama has played, and I think that would help Alabama not look so pedestrian through that stretch.
I agree.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
So that's just a thought process. It helps people go, oh, well, Alabama was horrible too, Tennessee or whatever the stretch was. I think that would help. But we got Pat on the hotline wanting to talk a little Bama football. How you doing this morning, Pat?
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, Allen, I agree perfectly with Allen. Even though Tyson's an old man, if he makes contact, he's going to send that man to sleep.
Let me see. The OG_7240 club said that his stamina is going to be a problem. Well, they kind of compensated for that by the rounds are going to be 2 minutes versus 3. So
okay.
So that last minute of exhaustion per round that Tyson would be maybe feeling is going to be cut off because he's going to be getting refreshed every 2 minutes versus every 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ain't no way in the world I'd let that man hit me. I ain't got enough money. But you might have permanent brain damage.
When they be showing those videos of him warming up, either they got sound effects on them gloves or he still got some juice.
Yeah, he still got juice. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. But, hey, if I can hit you one time as hard as I could when I was 20, but, hey, I might not be good the second punch, but the one time, I might not have been as good once as I ever, but I'm as good once as I ever was, yeah. But no, but let's talk about this weekend. That I tell you, 56-14. This team's going to be able to possibly be able to score, especially when we start doing a lot of subbing in the second half. They're going to try to score as bad as LSU did, and that LSU coach should have put his twos in and just took his butt whipping as he would. He should have. He showed zero class is what he showed. And that's all I can say about that. An LSU coach, I can't stand him. That's what but LSU deserves that. Going and buying the coach from Notre Dame, they deserve that, And but man, hey, I'm getting excited about this weekend. I'm getting excited to see. And I know I shouldn't be saying this. Coach Saban would be bent out of shape. But I'm excited to get to see our two backup quarterbacks actually get to play maybe just a little bit with some quality wide receivers and be able to throw the ball around the schoolyard. What do y'all think?
I definitely want to see that. I want to see what improvements Ty has made as a quarterback instead of just handing it off. I'd also like to see what Dylan has done, because we haven't seen him really throw the ball at all yet outside of a spring game. So if we get the opportunity, I really think Coach DeBoer should let those guys get in there, get their feet wet, and sling it around the field a little bit. Do you have the tiebreaker is rushing yards? Did you say that?
Oh, okay. Rushing yards for Alabama total. I'm looking at about 256.
I didn't get Pat's score. I must have missed it. What's Pat's score?
My score is 56-14.
All right, Pat, it's been interesting how few people have us getting to the 50 point. We have a couple. You're the highest so far.
Yeah, we're reason being is Jalen's going to have 5 touchdowns and Ty's going to have 3.
This is what nobody's talking about, Pat and X. I may go higher than that, Pat. I don't know that we're going to get Mercer's best. Mercer is an FCS school that's sitting at 9-1, and the Bama fans haven't talked. Now here's the thing. If you're worried about people getting hurt with Alabama going to play against the SEC, what do you think Mercer's thinking right now?
Mercer's got a chance to play further. They might not play their ones either. It won't help the team.
Right, Pat. I mean, literally, you talk about like the difference between Mercer and Alabama. Alabama would be playing for a championship, Pat. This is just another game that will do nothing for Mercer.
Yeah.
Or hurt them, right? So,
but hurt them.
To me, now, I mean, if I'm a player, I'm like hyped to go play against Alabama, right? Because the chance to get on film and chance for an NFL team to see me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you compare, Alabama fans have been talking about they want to go play in the SEC championship game. Here's Mercer having to come down after one season and play against Alabama. If they beat Alabama, it still don't help them in their playoff rankings because the playoff ranking goes off of what they did in FCS. So if they play Alabama and lose and get hurt, I mean, which you don't play the game to get hurt. I'm just saying that if Alabama fans feel that way, if Mercer fans and coaches and players are feeling the same way Alabama fans were, we might get 70 Saturday.
Yeah, you have a very good point there.
When we jump out on them, if we jump out on them early, I don't see this coach keeping his starters in, especially his skill positions.
Yeah, it'd be crazy too. I mean, even against our twos, because hey, our 2s and 3s are going to want to prove a point too.
Our 2s and 3s would be their starters.
Or better.
I doubt even that. But anyway, hey, you guys have a blessed weekend, and hey, we're going to have a beautiful day for football tomorrow.
All right, Pat.
Boy.
All right, hey, let's get the break expert coming back on the other side. Look at Blind Squirrel talking about they doing a blackout. They know what happened last time they did a blackout, don't they?
It was their own funeral.
That was Alabama. So Tennessee's not Alabama. All right, we'll be back on the other side to keep it going right here. We'll talk a little hoops, I think. We'll be back in just a moment.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We got a bit of a rip on University at 2059 right now. Some heavy traffic in the area, especially as you try to move on and off of 2059 and coming over to the rest of the area, freeways and side streets. We're not doing bad at all.
Or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Houston Hydrosteam. That's Houston Hydrosteam. Quality work you can stand on. Whether you're looking for carpet and upholstery cleaning, oriental rug cleaning, residential or commercial water damage, and a whole lot more, you need to call Houston Hydrosteam at 205-553-9460.
Consolidated Electrical Distributors in Tuscaloosa, Coleman, or Decatur, or call All Phase Electric Supply in Albertville and Huntsville for an on-site evaluation and recommendations for optimizing your lighting.
Visit the pharmacy at Midtown. That's the pharmacy at midtown.com. TJ and his team are looking for the opportunity to provide you with great services, including compound, home delivery, and a whole lot more. You're looking for a great pharmacy that'll take care of all of your needs, including wellness classes, including health, and more. That's the pharmacy at Midtown. Call them at 205.
Enjoy free shipping to your home on purchases over $25. Your new Academy Sports and Outdoor store is located at 4610 U.S. Highway 280 in Birmingham.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. This has been a free-for-all Friday powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. As we get ready to wrap this one up, we're going to hit a little basketball before we talk about predictions for the football game tomorrow. Bama's taking on Purdue, number 13 in the country, while we're sitting at number 2. First time we've really been out on the road this season. Thoughts about what Bama can do to get a win over the Boilermakers?
Play their game. No, I mean, seriously. I think that Alabama, if you look at Purdue, actually hit it a little bit yesterday. Purdue lost a lot. Zach Edey, Lance Jones, both graduate. Mason Gillis and Ethan Morton, a forward and a guard, both one went to Duke and Gillis went to Duke and Morton went to Colorado State. So they're having to replace a lot of minutes and a lot of time. They still have their, point guard, Braden Smith, and some people say it's between him and Mark Sears for the number 2 guard in the country coming into the season. So that'll be a fun matchup. But then, man, they have shooting guard right now, as the writing of this article, is a freshman, true freshman, and their center is a true freshman. Go ahead.
They have 2 7-footers. You're talking about Daniel Jacobson, who's the freshman, who's 7'4" and 230. But they also have another one, Will Berg, 7'2", 260.
But he didn't play a lot behind, Edey. So talking about Berg and the freshmen coming in, they're just not polished. And the scouting report is, I love this. It says he still struggles when he's getting bullied by the grown men that are 22 and 23 years old in basketball, and he struggles when he's guarded. And I'm like, yeah, that's usually when a big man struggles. Big men don't usually struggle at the rim when they're not guarded. But anyway, I just think Alabama has too much depth and too much rotation, and I think Big Red, Big Clifford O, Big O, whatever we want to call him, I think his presence nullifies them, and it's their big time guard against our big time front court. And I think between Sears and Reitzel, who seemed to have gotten his stroke back the other day, he had been struggling a little bit. That's just going to help Alabama be that much better. So I got Bama winning. Double digit in my opinion. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think Bama. I think Clifford's size. He's shorter than these guys, but at 250 and not. I mean, at 6'11", almost 7 foot, he's a thicker body that can bang down low. My thing is I would try to get those guys in foul trouble early and make them have to rely on those perimeter shooters to win the game for them. So that's where I'm going with that. When we look at Mercer tomorrow, what do you want to see from Bama? Like what is the mission of this game?
Pick up from where they left off, meaning clean play, offensively and defensively. I think we had 4 or 5 penalties, our best penalty game. So I want to see that. So execution would be goal number 1 after winning, of course. But and then I want to see them build on last week's game plans on both sides. Don't not rep what you do well. In other words, you don't need to necessarily blitz against Mercer to win the game, but blitz against Mercer so that you keep the guys in that rhythm so that they're ready for next week. Now, the Mercer quarterback is really good. At their level, I don't know how good he's going to be against us, but at that level, so contain the quarterback because that helps us, with passing down the road with Oklahoma and Arnold. So, but dominate the game. And I'd like to see our kicker make a couple field goals. I just want to see. I mean, I'm nervous that we're going to come down to a kick, and we're going to be like the Georgia game where we needed a miracle by Tua.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Keep running what you run, do what you're supposed to do, play a clean game, and Alabama should dominate overall tomorrow. Who's going to end up being the player of the game in offense and defense?
I have no idea. I pass. I have no idea with Bray Hubbard. Bray Hubbard, Kendrick Law. Who knows? Anyway.
Yeah. I think it's going to be running back by committee. I think Jam and Justice go off again tomorrow. And then defensively, defensively, man, Giannis Pierre stepping in for Q Robinson. That's where I go with. What's your score?
I have 66. Bama want to go 69, or I'm really want to go 70, but I'm not. I'm on 66X, and I don't know that they're gonna score, and if they do, it's gonna be on the second team. So right now, I got it like 66-6, but wouldn't be surprised if Bama got a shutout.
I have 62-10. Get a couple field goals, but here's the kicker. It's gonna be the pun. One's gonna be by our starting kicker, Nicholson, and then one's gonna be by the backup kicker, Talty.
I think we get a special teams score.
Ooh,
okay.
So, and I'll go 278 rushing yards.
And I have 260. All right. Hey, man, it's been a great weekend. Tim Coggins says, I think Richard Young goes off. So there you go. Blind Squirrel Sports at 203. We'll be back on Monday. We'll add Kenneth Smith to the conversation. Thanks to all the caller, listeners, viewers, and chatters who've been part of the program. That's Xavier Houston. I'm Martin Houston. That's Chase Brumfield. We appreciate you. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, and not your own understanding. Always acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Beat Purdue Boilermakers and take care of Mercer. We'll talk about them all on Monday.